Alright, it's important to note that we have two different respirations that we were talking about in class. We have the aerobic, meaning air, it requires air, aerobic respiration is going to require oxygen. It needs that oxygen to be able to perform. So that means it's going to start with glycolysis. So the first step is glycolysis, which gives us 2 ATP. Then it's going to go, in the presence of oxygen only, into Krebs, which is going to give us 2 more ATP. And then it steps into the third, which is the ETC, or the electron transport chain, which gives us 32 ATP, which is a total of 36. But if we have an aerobic, which requires oxygen, let's go on and talk about the ones that does not require oxygen, and that is going to be anaerobic respiration, and meaning not needed or no oxygen. Oops, let's get this right. So no oxygen. We also call this fermentation. So anytime things go in with no oxygen, it is called fermentation or anaerobic respiration. So first off, how does this work? It goes along with the same. It is processed as before, starting with glycolysis. So from that we're going to get our pyruvic acids, our 2 pyruvic acids, and 2 ATP. That's what we get out of glycolysis. Now it's going to stop here. It's not going into a mitochondria because we do not have oxygen available, which also means that this is going to be available to protists and bacteria. You go into it when you do a lot of quick exercise, heavy exercise. It is just simply when there's no oxygen. So what happens? Those 2 pyruvic acids are going to go 2 different ways. It goes into what we can call this for animals. And for animals, that is going to be called lactic acid fermentation. So what do you get from that? Well, remember in class we did the push-up exercise, and I showed it once you run through your oxygen, you have to do exercise that causes you to work really hard. You're going to get sore muscles because you're going to build up lactic acid. That's the biggie right there. Lactic acid is the buildup that causes those sore muscles, and you have to actually work through that to get the soreness out of your muscles. It goes back through filtering through your liver and stuff. So anytime you're doing a heavy exercise and you come away sore, your muscles are strained, they're shivering, they're shaking, and you have an overall tiredness to it. That's going through anaerobic lactic acid fermentation, building up the lactic acid. Now for plants are able to go through what we call alcoholic fermentation. This is going to be mainly for bakers and brewers, because they are taking the bacteria and they're taking the yeast and they're going to make something called ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. Those are your 2 products for it. Now it's important to realize anytime we have bakers and they use yeast in their products to get the bread dough to rise, we end up getting those pockets, or like the bubbles. The carbon dioxide builds up bubbles and they pop, and that is what it's causing the holes in the bread. Also, the alcoholic fermentation will be able to provide the ethyl alcohol for any of your wines and alcoholic beverages, and the carbon dioxide is allowing for the bubbles within those drinks as well. So remember, you have aerobic respiration, which gives you your main amounts of 36 ATP, but then you have your anaerobic respiration, which is no oxygen, which is giving you only 2 ATP, but you have lactic acid fermentation, which gives you lactic acid for animals, or you have alcoholic fermentation, which gives you ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. So that's just a breakdown of fermentation really quick. So study up, guys.